So today we are going to explain John Locke's theory of government, and the reason why we're going to look at this is because it is kind of the foundation for American political thought. It's basically where governments get their power from. So John Locke believed in something called the state of nature. No, not that kind of nature. More like caveman nature. So basically, the state of nature to John Locke was anybody that didn't have a government yet. He actually specifically talks about the Native American people before British kind of got there as being the perfect examples of the state of nature. This is kind of, according to John Locke, how people live without a government. Yeah. So let's just kind of break down what the state of nature really means. So we're going to use a simple example of two people living in the state of nature. So they both have land, and basically if they work, they can make that land better. And so John Locke says, listen, if you can work on land and you can make it better, that land belongs to you. Not only does it belong to you, but everything that comes from it belongs to you. So far, this isn't a crazy kind of an idea. In the state of nature, we can say whatever we want. We're just kind of living there on our land, and so freedom of speech is absolute. You can say whatever crazy ideas you want. He would also put in here freedom of religion. We can work whenever we want. We can do whatever we want, and everything we improve belongs to us. And those are basically those ideas that John Locke claims exist. These are, you can see if you look at it really pretty closely, this is kind of what the Declaration of Independence is talking about. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. John Locke and another British legal philosopher named Sir William Blackstone called it life, liberty, and property. And by the way, the founders, even though Jefferson said pursuit of happiness, he's thinking property when he says it also. So let's say that person A works harder, and so they make more land. Pretty soon they grow more food. Our person B here is so hungry, so how do they get it? Well, according to John Locke, in the state of nature, you trade. And so if you don't have land, let's say that person B does have some tools or whatever else that he has made, and so he trades or money, and pretty soon he's got all the food he wants because person A has grown as much food as he needs for both of them. Well, this is a pretty good situation so far, and money is there. But pretty soon, person A uses the money. He buys all of person B's land. Now person B doesn't have any land. Person A has all the land, and person B is in trouble. According to John Locke, this is going to lead to what we call the state of war, where basically person B comes in and starts stealing things from person A, or he just goes to war with person A. And this is the state of war, and basically in this situation, if person B is stronger than person A is not able to protect their property. This is a bad situation in the state of nature or the state of war, and so we go to the state of society. And this is where person A, person B, and all the other letters of the alphabet all decide that they're going to have a leader. In John Locke's day, it's a king. And basically, to make him king and to give him power in society, they are going to give up certain rights to the king. They're going to say, listen, these rights are mine. I can say whatever I want, and I can do whatever I want. Like in the state of nature, I was able to do that. I'm going to let you make rules that say that I can't say whatever I want, and I can't do whatever I want, like fight my neighbor. That's a party foul. We're going to make those party fouls. We're going to keep these rights. We can work whenever we want, and we're going to change everything to most that we improve as our property, but not all of it. We're going to kind of let you have part of that one as well. And so this situation works out in the state of society. It's what we call the social contract. They're trading certain rights for certain protections. Now, when person B decides to go and take something from person A, the government gets in between them. And you can see here that person A is happy. and gets to keep their cat, which if you were really Mr. Gilson or the Bearded Wonder, you would be more than happy to let the Tyrannosaurus man have or kick bricks at. But that's not how it works. Now, in the British scheme of things, they had developed what they called a limited government, and this is kind of what John Locke has in mind. We have the people and we have the government, and those are the two people that have that contract that we talked about earlier. But the government is broken down in the British system into a parliament and a crown. And the people get to vote for the parliament, which means that even though the people are separate from the government, they also have some control over the government, and the government, the parliament, has control over the crown. So when the crown, for example, needs money, this is the Magna Carta 1215, the crown can't just take it from the people because they still have this right that most that they improve is their property, which means that they have to vote to give the money to the king, which means that they vote to give it to Parliament, and then Parliament gives it to the king, and now we have a happy system. This is just kind of one example of how the limited government works. We could do the same thing with the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, all of that kind of stuff. By the time America is really starting to be a thing, there is this idea that people get representation in the government and that those rights can only be given up if they vote to give them up. And we're going to pick up here later when we talk about colonial governments.